you guys later. All right, let's hit it. So I'm a realtor just like you guys, right? I've sold a lot of real estate. What up, Mike? And it's allowed me to do some cool things. So one of the things right now is I was just in Texas with my real estate company that I own with these two other guys. That was on Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, I flew into Cincinnati, which is where I'm at right now. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't been to Cincinnati, it's a really cool city. It's my third time here now, but we're visiting our oldest daughter and her husband. And then tomorrow morning, we're leaving to go see some college friends of ours who live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And these three couples plus us, we all dated in college, and then we all married our significant other within probably 3 to 6 months after college. Well, not 3 to 6 months. I married my wife 1 week out of college. But anyway, we married from 0 months to 6 months out of college. And I guess I say all that because, like, if you're not leading your ideal lifestyle, if you're not able to kind of take the time off when you want, if you're not earning the income that you want, as a residential realtor, all you're missing is one thing. You're just missing the CPS3, which I call it the Complete, Proven, Simple Signature System. And that's this thing that I've been using now and created, man, probably 15 years ago, 16 years ago now. My first year doing it, I did a little over 800,000 GCI. Like, type in the chat box, if you did over 800,000 GCI in the next 12 months, would that help you out? Like, would 800,000 GCI next 12 months help you out? And that's what I did my first year doing it. Heck, maybe you just do 50% of that, right? And you're at 400,000 GCI. And the cool thing, it wasn't only the income that started happening when I started going with the CPS3, it was the time. And so I started working more in that 40, 45, 50 hours a week time to achieve that. Cool. All right, 3 things we're going to be talking about today. The 3 biggest problems that that I know are getting realtors stuck right now. And one of them, the first one, in fact, Mike, which of the first problems should we tackle first? Do you have a preference?
I think most people are saying, like, how do we get leads? We can't do open houses, or there's always restrictions, and open houses are super hard to do right now. So what do we do about that?
Gotcha. Well, so I love open houses, right? But I get it that there's some areas that's just not allowed. And so the cool part about that is there's some other alternatives. One alternative that I have is print media. So there's a postcard that I send out. And just from that one postcard that I send out, it generates anywhere from about 40,000 to 62,000 a month. And it generally it generally brings in about 2, sometimes 3 really cool families that I work with. And I target this postcard towards the top 50% of the market price because those people tend to be a lot more open to paying a full commission, and they tend to be more open to actually getting like what they want. Another thing that I like to do if open houses aren't allowed is online leads, right? And there's 2 sources of online leads that I love. One is Realtor.com and the other is Agent Machine. And I really like those 2 because, number one, when Joe Q Public goes to like Zillow or Trulia, they're really not looking for a realtor. Like, what are they looking for? What's the consensus? Like, what is Zillow known for? Type in the chat box. Take a guess. Like, you're Joe Q Public. Like, you're not a realtor anymore. Let's say you're Joe Q Public. Yeah, you're right. They want a Zestimate, right? And a Zestimate means, like, I want to know what my home is worth and I don't want to talk to a human. So because I know that's what humans are desiring from Zillow leads, I'm not saying they're bad, but I just don't prefer them as much as, let's say, Realtor.com. Because when Joe Q Public goes to Realtor.com, I mean, it's right in the name, right? They're okay being contacted by a realtor, right? And so get Realtor.com leads. They have a whole bunch out there, but I like the ones that the Joe Q public has gone. They say they want to look at XYZ exact home, and that lead goes to me and one other realtor. I wish it could go to more realtors, but unfortunately, that's the most they have. Is it goes to 2 realtors. Um, and then when you follow the CPS3 method of the 7 things to say, that's where the magic happens. And heck, open houses could be closed forever, but when you have what to say to these people, um, yeah. So yeah, I get it that open houses can be difficult right now in some areas, but those are some really easy workarounds. And with the Realtor.com, it's not costing a lot of money. Like for $500 a month, you can get some really good leads coming in.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, Regina, you know Regina,
Hmm.
brand new realtor.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a list. She didn't have a sphere of influence. She didn't have a database. She had none of that stuff. And she started her business during COVID, couldn't do open houses. So she did Realtor.com. Within her first month, she earned enough from the leads she got from Realtor.com to pay for an entire year of Realtor.com. So now she's just riding that, and the leads are coming into her nonstop. And then yesterday, I spoke with Ellen, and I think you know Ellen.
Yeah.
Ellen, above and beyond everything else, loves open houses. She just lives and dies for open houses. She's in New Jersey, though. Open houses were closed for 3 months where she is. And you know what she's doing this year? She's doing double her income this year than she made last year because she's doing your other systems. And the other one that's worked really well for her, and for the other ones you haven't mentioned yet, is the Ultimate Humans. And so how is Ultimate Humans better or different than a sphere of influence?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, in fact, Janet Mitchell, she sent me an email where she said, "Oh, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but bottom line, something like I've been a realtor for 7 years. I started doing the Ultimate Humans, and just in the last, I'm going to get the exact month time frame since June 10th of this year. So what is that? Call it 5 months, 4 months. She's earned more income in that 4 or 5 month time frame just from Ultimate Humans than she's ever earned any year total in residential real estate. So that's pretty good. Ultimate Humans is there's 4 steps. So I teach realtors, hey, send out a certain letter, and I go over exactly what to say in that letter 1 time a month. And it's a form letter. It's nothing deep and whatnot. It takes about 30 minutes to set up. Second is I teach people how to send out a video, and it's a video that goes out to all your people. Excuse me. So it's not a custom video, right? It's not like you're sending this out to uh, it's not like you're creating 100 of these. You're just creating one of them, and you send that out 1 time a month, and that takes roughly about 20 minutes to do. And really the first 15 minutes is just like, how do I do it? Should I do it? And like reach out to me and I'll be like, yeah, you got it, you can do it. So it really only takes about 5 minutes to do. And then let's see, that's the second thing. Third thing is invite people to a gathering or event that you do. And I know this trips up some people because some people are like, hey, it's COVID right now, right? Well, the event you do, it's not, it doesn't matter really what you do. It's that you're inviting people. Does that make sense? So Mike lives in Canada. I live in the Caribbean and in Montana. So I don't call Mike for my Ultimate Humans. But if we lived closer, I'd call Mike and I would just be like, hey, I'm doing da-da-da, come on over. And maybe 90% of the time, Mike's like, nope, can't make it, can't make it. But Mike feels warm and fuzzy inside because he's like, wow, Zabrocki's asking me to do something. Does that make sense? And so at these events, it's not like, it doesn't matter if 3 people show up or 30 people show up. The power is I've invited Mike to come into my life. Does that make sense? And at these events, just so you guys know, they're simple. They're like, hey, I'm buying ice cream at Joe's Ice Cream Shop from 4 to 5 p.m. Come on over. Hey, I'm buying donuts at Krispy Kreme. Come on over. If you feel comfortable having people come over to your home, perfect. Do taco night at your house. Does that make sense? And then there's one big thing that I do during that gathering that generally causes anywhere from 10, 20, 30, up to the most I've ever gotten is about 78,000 GCI from doing a one gathering. And the one thing is like breathtakingly simple. Like once you hear it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. And really, that's with all 11 of the ways that I've done it. Most people are like, that's it. Or they're like, oh my gosh, that is so simple. Or they say, wow, you do things totally different, right? Like, so I teach people how to do open houses, but it's very different than how you've done it, right? It's non-salesy. And that's what's very attractive to people.
I spoke to Kai 2 days ago, and I spoke to Ellen yesterday. And they were both saying, what Jonathan does is so simple, it's kind of challenging because realtors want to do so much. And you're saying, stop the madness. And it's challenging for them to simple it down. But Kai's working an hour a day. He's a little embarrassed. I don't know if I was supposed to tell you that. But he did $85,000 GCI with that 1 hour a day. And Alan says she's doing this much of what you've taught her to double her income. And she's embarrassed too, because she's doubled her income doing this much.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone's asking, hey, do you guys cover Facebook, PPC, YouTube, generate leads? The quick answer is no, because it's just not as effective. Like I've done that, and the amount of result I get is that, versus when I do these other things, the amount of result is like that, right? And it's not only the result. So each of my 11 ways will add 25,000 of GCI to you per month. And you might need to write that down, because you might be like, what? So that's where Mike is saying, like, Ellen's doing a fraction and she's making great income. So I teach 11 different ways of how to attract really cool premium, high quality buyers and sellers. Each of those 11 ways has the ability to add 25,000 of income to you. And so, as Mike just said, Kai's doing one of them, and it's taking him 1 hour. What did you say, 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week?
A day. He does 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening.
Yeah. So 1 hour a day. It's just, it's effective work. Does that make sense? And I think what Mike said is really true. It's like, as realtors, I think we're almost trained or taught by our broker to like work, hustle, do more, grind it out. And I get it. I was that way too 19 years ago when I first started residential real estate, but I had to shift because my income was pretty good, but my lifestyle was like F minus. I don't even know if you can get such a low grade. I mean, it was horrible, right? And so what I had to do, I threw out all the things that traditional realtors focus on and obsess on. And I said, okay, those are okay, but instead I'm going to do these instead. And I'm so glad I did, because like I say, that third year, I did 810,000 GCI. Went on a 4-week vacation to St. John, Caribbean, U.S. Virgin Islands. And it's like, I got my life back again. That's why I got into residential real estate. I'm assuming you guys got into residential real estate because you wanted to make some money. You wanted to help people, but you wanted some like free time as well, right? And so what I've had to learn is that I'm looking to attract CPLs, cool premium leads. That's what I'm going after. I'm looking to attract those people. I'm not looking to attract leads, right? I'm not looking to attract, I need 30 people a day to opt into my Facebook thingy. Like, yeah, does that make sense? I'm not like, that doesn't pay the bills, right? Opt-ins or likes on Facebook or whatnot.
So two things there, Jonathan. One, before you, Kai was with Bold, doing the Bold system, Bold leads, I guess, and he was told to call 40 people a day, and I think he was looking at, I think he was looking at quitting because he was calling 40 people a day. He was miserable. He wasn't getting any results, and so it was, yeah, he was just super frustrated because he started as a realtor in January as well.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned with your gatherings, it doesn't matter if you get one person or 30. Similarly, when I spoke to Ellen yesterday, Ellen did an open house. She got one person showed up to the open house, but she followed your system. That person already had a realtor that they've been working with for years, but following your system, that realtor switched over to Ellen, and it resulted in $850,000 in whatever, because it was a $500,000 buy that they were going to do and a $350,000 sale. And so, like I say, what's so cool about your system is you don't need the volume, right? When you do things the right way, you connect with people so much quicker. And yeah, you just don't need the numbers that you need following something like Bold.
It's yeah, and I think that kind of leads into that second problem that I'm seeing a lot of realtors have, and I know they're reaching out to you, Mike, saying, "Hey, low inventory, right? So what do we do with this low inventory thing?" And type in the chat box, like, do you guys have low inventory? Meaning, the layman's term would be like, are there 3 offers on every house that goes on the market, or 5 offers, or 8 offers? Type in the chat box. Sweet. So, cool. Here's a solution to that, right? Or Sarah says, yeah, only the crap is left. Yeah. So the solution is, well, I'll give you the 100,000 foot view solution, but the solution would be, if you could help a buyer out and they write an offer and they get the house, regardless of how many other offers are out there, would that make your life easier? So I'll say it again and type in the chat box. Like, if you could have a solution where you write an offer for a buyer and that buyer of yours gets that house regardless of if there's multiple offers on that home or not, like, would that help you out? Because that's really what you want, right? So it's not the low inventory that's hurting us. It's the, hey, when you write an offer for somebody, they're not getting the home. And it starts with a couple things, but I would say number one, it starts with doing the initial consultation. So when I meet with somebody, I'm going to walk them through, well, I'm going to start with, hey, how much do you know about me? What makes me different? How I massively benefit people like you? And they're going to say, not that much. And then I walk them through basically my initial consultation. Mike has seen this a couple of times, but this is totally different than any other realtor, right? This is not on some super duper PowerPoint. It's a really basic format, and it takes about 4 minutes. And through these things, there's a lot of things that just really strike people. Why is it not a PowerPoint, and why is it paper, and why is it big? And why do I have a promise like, hey, I'm going to be on time. If I'm ever late, I owe you $100. Would you appreciate working with a realtor like that, along with other things? The main reason, I'll give you the short version, is because it works. So I've personally sold $424 million in 2 different states where nobody knew me from Adam: Minnesota, California. I then have created, well, let's say 3 real estate companies, one in Minnesota, one in California. Realtors on those companies, they've sold over 600 million. And about 6 years ago, Christy Willis, who's a realtor on a Minnesota company, she was like, you got to teach this stuff nationally. And like, you guys, maybe you've been watching me for a while, maybe not, but I'll just be straight up with you. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm, I'm, I get kind of cranky sometimes being around people. Right. And so it's like, I'm like, Christy, like, I don't know if I want to teach other realtors how to do this because I just kind of want to go snorkeling and play with the kids and that kind of stuff. And she's like, man, but this is so different and it can change a ton of people's lives. And so, anyway, 6 years ago, I started doing this mainly because of Christy, and then also mainly because I just got tired of all the gurus. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Like people that have never sold real estate, or they sold real estate a decade ago. Uh, and you could probably type in the chat box who some of those people might come to your mind. Or there's some, maybe they are a realtor, but they're selling $100,000 homes, telling you, hey, you can do this. Just sell 100 homes a year and go on your fourth marriage, and yay, And I was like, that stuff's nuts. Like that doesn't work, right? And I'm like, what other industry is out there? Like, would I take advice from somebody who's 400 pounds overweight telling me how to lose weight? Most of us would be like, well, that wouldn't be our first option, right? Uh, and so I just was like, God, man, there's so much junk out there. So that's the reason I started doing this. So anyway, fast forward, over those 6 years, realtors nationally, now in every single state, yay, and Canada, they've sold $1.2 billion of residential real estate. So we're talking 2.2 billion total of real estate sold this way. And oh my gosh, I'm doing an event coming up where I go from A to Z, how it works and why it works. But the short answer is, gosh, it works because it's totally different than what a traditional realtor does. That's why it works.
Again, I spoke to Ellen yesterday, and I spoke to her for 35 minutes. I made a 2-minute video of her and I speaking together. What I didn't include is how she finished, and I'll put that. I'll cut that out and I'll put it in the Facebook group today. But she finished with saying how, Jonathan, you don't know this, but you've got a flock of people who you have personally helped, and you've made their lives so much better, and you've allowed them to help so many people. She says she's a convert, and she says she doesn't think that you really know how many people that you've truly helped. Like I say, I'll post that. It made it to the editing room floor, but I'll add that to the Facebook group today so everybody can see it.
Yeah. So for low inventory, one, it's doing an initial consultation that's quick, short, and to the point. And then for low inventory, it's writing an offer that you actually get the house, right? And so you have to educate the buyer, not because you want to earn a commission. That's not going to help that buyer. But it's like you need to be willing to, and I'm not the best with words, but you need to be willing to fight for this person. Does that make sense? So if I'm working with Mike and Mike really sees this one house he likes and I got to be willing to fight for Mike, right? And I'm going to go back to the initial consultation, the reasons why he wants to move, more so than just the 2x4 and this and this. Does that make sense? But why does he want that? And why does he want running trails in the backyard? And what's that going to do for him? And how's it going to make him feel when he has a race at his house and there's 30 people running around having a blast, right? And so when it comes time to write the offer, I'm like, Mike, this house, this property, I don't like to use the word property, this home, this is your home, right? Like all we got to do is pay 25, 50,000 above list price and you get what you want. So let's go get that. Now it's a little more complicated than that, but that's the summary of it. And when you do the initial consultation the right way, things work out. Does that make sense? It's what Lexus does. It's what Mercedes does. It's what BMW does. Nobody buys that brand of car because they're like, hey, I need a stereo. They buy that car because it's that extra something. Does that make sense? And you can't even really put a finger on it because truly all cars are the same. They go forward, they go backward, they turn into the same radio station, right? They all have a steering wheel and a horn. Uh, they're all practically the same, but it's these little differentiators that massively make a difference. And I think that kind of leads into the third biggest problem that I'm seeing realtors have is they're like, they can't get their offer accepted, right? And so I have to educate the buyer that like, hey guys, you're going to pay cash, an all cash offer to get the house. That's great. But at closing, every offer is a cash offer. And that's a really important dialogue to use. Like I would jot that one down because it appears that cash buyers think it's like when I interact with them, I feel like they're wearing 9-inch heels and they're like, hey, my poo-poo doesn't stink. And somehow they're like, oh, I'm a cash buyer. And I'm just kind of like, well, okay, great. Like clap, clap. Great, you're a cash buyer. But it doesn't matter. Because if Mike is a seller, I don't think Mike cares if cash buyer says, hey, I'll pay 800,000 for your home, and another person who is strapped in debt but gets a loan is willing to pay 900,000 for your home. All things being equal, Mike, what would you prefer? Cash buyer says 800K to buy your home. Somebody who's got to borrow money from 7 relatives and get a loan, but they're willing to pay 100,000 more. Which one do you take?
Oh, I could buy a much bigger sawmill with $100,000 more.
Yeah, it's like the only question Mike would say is, do the people actually have the money? And to find out, you just call the lender and like, hey, lender, straight up, do they got this or not? And lender goes, yep, yeah. Mike's like, I don't care if they pay with pesos. What's the Canadian currency?
It's the peso, the Canadian peso.
No, Joe. No, is it really?
It's called a dollar. It's just
What?
worth a peso in US
Oh,
funds. So,
oh, that's a Canadian dollar. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like, I don't care if they pay with Canadian dollar, American dollar, peso, yen, uh, franc or franc, whatever Europe is called. Um, I guess the euro. Man, I do like a euro though. Now, it's one of my favorite sandwiches. You speaking of which, we have some good friends from Berlin. Man, if you guys like euros, Berlin, Germany, the best euro on the globe. Germany, the number one people there are German. The second biggest ethnic group is wherever euros are from. Where is it? Turkey? I don't know. But anyway, they got like really good euros there. Amazing street vendor euros.
Some people call them gyros.
Gyros, yeah.
Yeah. You got so there's a couple of questions about the cash or offer, about the dollar offer, but the thing is there's more to the offer than just the dollar figure, right? That helps sway the deal.
100%. So okay, you got to realize price is very important to a seller, but there are other things. So what I will do, and I get it. Like some of us might be like, well, that won't work, or that doesn't work, or whatever. Everything with my system, you got to suspend judgment. Does that make sense? Otherwise, you're just going to be, I was going to say the word stuck. I'll just say the word stuck. You're just going to be stuck where you're at, right? And I know this, every single one of you on this call right now wants something different in your life. If you did not want something different in your life, you would not be here. And maybe that difference is you want more money. Maybe that difference is you want more free time. Maybe that difference is, you want more consistency. Maybe that difference is you want less stress, right? And this system gives you all that. So yeah, price is really important. Second thing that I like to do is do a much higher earnest money than normal. So if I'm helping Mike buy a place and typical earnest money is 2%, I'm going to be like, hey, Mike, let's go down and do 10% earnest money. And Mike might say, well, why do I want to put so much down? And I say, well, because you want to get the home, because you want to have that running trail and the this and the that and the sawmill and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, but could I lose my earnest money? Well, type in the chat box. When you guys write an offer for somebody, Could they lose their earnest money? There's no right or wrong answer. And then if you put down, yep, they could lose their earnest money, awesome. So how do we prevent them not to lose their earnest money? And generally, you don't lose your earnest money if you back out of buying a home in a certain time frame. So I just educate Mike, and this is really quick. This is 30 seconds, right, guys? So I just say, hey, Mike, we're going to do this. We're going to offer 800,000. I think that'd be a great price, very fair. Also, we're going to put down 100,000 for earnest money because you're going to put down 20% to buy the home anyway, right? And he goes, yep, I'm putting down 20%. Sweet, excellent. So let's just put a chunk of that down right up front. That's going to show the seller, Mr. Smith, that like you're earnest. Does that make sense? And voila. And maybe I have to write something in the contract, but most states have it where it's like, hey, if you back out within 17 days or 10 days, or many times you don't even need to have a reason, but some states are, well, you have to have done the inspection and something where the buyer sellers don't agree to, whatever the case. But getting out of a real estate contract, it's generally not the hardest thing out there, right? So earnest money is super important. Price is super important. And then the third thing that I do that really sets my offers apart from other offers is I educate my buyers and I say, guys, this is a home you like, right? Yeah, we do like it. Okay, cool. And we're up against other people who also like it. You guys get that? Like, we're not the only offer. Yep, we get that. Cool. So this is what we're going to do. We can do an inspection. That's fine. But I want to tell the other realtor that like I've educated you guys and that we're not going to be picky. Like, we're going to be pretty chillax people to work with. Meaning, during this inspection, we're looking for, is the foundation bad and is the house going to tip over, or is there a big hole in the roof? And as long as there's not a big hole in the roof and the house isn't going to tip over, you guys cool buying it? And most people are like, well, yeah, sweet. So now when I'm presenting that offer to Mike, it's a very good price. It's earnest money, which is way more than what they're used to. And it's like, hey, Mike, I just want to let you know I've educated my buyers, John and Lana Burgo, that like we're going to do a home inspection, but we're looking for a foundation that's going to tip over or a big hole in the roof. We're not going to be picky if like the stove doesn't work or the floor is a little sloped or the GFI outlet doesn't work or the door doesn't close that correctly. And so voila. Bingo, bango. Because I know this. See, the number one thing that a buyer wants, well, maybe type in the chat box. Like, what does a buyer want? If you had to boil it all down, let's say Mike is. Should I use Jonathan as my realtor? Fred, Sally, what is Mike? Dan's part of the Freedom Club, who's part of my private mentoring. You know all the right answers, Dan. For those of you not in the Freedom Club, yeah, it's basically like all Mike wants. See, Mike doesn't even care about me as the realtor. I mean, it's okay, but Mike's just like, I just want to get what I want. Does that make sense? And the first realtor to help me get what I want, that's who I'm going with. Does that make sense? Just like when you guys go to Starbucks coffee, you don't really care if that coffee is served by Fred, Sally. Heck, that person could have one arm, 3 arms, purple polka dotted, tattooed face. It doesn't matter. You're just like, I just want the coffee. Does that make sense? And so it's the same in residential real estate. Big overarching view. They really don't care what you look like. They don't care what you dress like. They don't care what your logo is. They don't care what company you're with. They're just like, hey, I need to buy a home. I really don't want to write an offer. I actually want to get the home. Who here wants to help me actually get what I want? And then voila. So those are, I guess, the three. I gave more than that, probably 5 solutions to like problems that realtors are facing day in and day out. Hey, so next Monday, I think it's October 26th, and Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's 3 days. Next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, October 26, 27, 28. I'm doing a 3-day event. And if you want to hang out for 2.5 days and learn from A to Z of the system, which the only reason you'd want to learn the system is you are interested in adding $25,000 monthly to your bank account. So if you're interested in adding $25,000 monthly to your bank account, you should come to this event. You go to the event by going to Total Freedom Solution. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. So
Hey, Jonathan, I just spoke to Dan. Dan has been doing CPS3 for a while.
yeah.
He knows all about it. He's somewhat objective. Would you mind bringing him on screen? And if anybody has any questions, they can ask Dan sort of what CPS3 is all about.
Yeah,
He can,
for sure.
say more objective. And I'll put the link for the event in chat.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll find you here in a second, Dan. Dan knows my techie prowess here. Might take a while. And Dan just got engaged in the last week. So yay, Dan. Cool. So as Dan's getting brought on, yeah, go to Total Freedom Solution. The event's limited to 100 realtors. I teach you all 11 ways. It's from A to Z. 7 of the 11 ways cost less than $300 per month to implement. And again, each of the 11 has the ability to add $25,000 a month to you, but you get my listing presentation, my buyer presentation. Everything is given to you at that event. What up, Dan?
Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Mike.
Yeah,
Hey,
we got North America covered. We got like Canada, not Quebec, but what town are you out of, Mike?
I'm in Quebec. Yeah, that's the province.
Okay, so you got Quebec, we got Cincinnati, and we got Seattle area.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Pacific Northwest. So, so Dan, when you came to an event recently, what hesitations did you have before signing up for the event?
Well, so first of all, I've been an agent for like 20 years. So I've been to a lot of different things to boost your business or how to take your business to the next level. And I've tried lots of things. And you kind of get to the point where you feel like you've heard it all after 20 years and things like that. So I was a little bit skeptical. But on the other hand, I didn't have my business, I've also been at it for 20 years and like nothing's too much changed for the last 10. And so I, needed to do something. And anyhow, so maybe, did I answer your question?
Yeah. So you're like, hey, I need something to change. I'm expecting it to kind of be same old, same old, same old, same old. And I don't know, at the end of day one, was it same old, same old?
Yeah, no, it was like all totally new and fresh, but mostly I guess what it was, like Mike had mentioned something. I'm a Keller Williams guy, so Mike had mentioned about the bold thing. So I've done bold twice before, where you talk to actually make 50 phone calls a day, and it's not 50 dials, it's 50 conversations. I mean, it's a lot of dials. I mean, it's hard. It's grueling, and my business was grueling, and it was no fun. So I guess my main thing that I got out of it was like, all right, here's a guy that's actually got some tried and proven ways to make more money with a lot less effort. And I like your acronym, the ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun. And the fun part was important to me, along with the being easy and lucrative. So that was, that's what was cool. And so, and then like Jonathan, I sent you an email the other day. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but like my first month, I just started in August. So my first month I made, my year up to August sucked. I mean, it was big. Like I had like 2 closings, even with 20 years of experience. It was horrible. I was dying on the vine. I was borrowing money and things like that. My first month after joining the Freedom Club, even though I couldn't implement the stuff, but just having the mindset and the shift and the hope that there's a better way, I closed 25 GCI my first month in the Freedom Club. My second month in the Freedom Club, I closed 110,000 of GCI in the Freedom Club. Okay, this month already, I'm over 55,000 closed, and I got 4 more in the hopper to close before the end of the month. And anyhow, so it's just like changed my life, and it's just awesome. I mean, if anyone like Jeremy, if someone asks if they should do it, yes, do it. Don't spend 20 years to figure out, doing it the wrong way. Just start off having fun and making a lot of money and doing easy. And anyhow, just start off the right way. You'll save yourself a lot of grief.
Yeah, it is true. It's like this is ELF, which is easy, lucrative, and fun, right? And I think at most realtors, we're following a path which is kind of hard. It's hard and it's arduous and it's kind of lame and it's frustrating and like it'll work, like Dan said. I mean, heck, you grinded through it for 20 years and it'll work, but it's like, ugh, right? And so, man, to go from 25 GCI to 110 GCI in a month, that's better than bad. Like that's pretty good.
It was awesome. It just like, again, I've been an agent for I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
So what the only thing that changed was I got in the Freedom Club and started, someone asked about how many hours I work. I'm still working. I'm new in the Freedom Club, so I still need to get my life simpler than it has been. But I am working right now about 40 hours a week instead of 70. So anyhow, I do got to run. Someone's like banging on my door, so I got to go see what they want.
Yeah,
So,
rock star.
right.
Love on him. Bye.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan's a great guy. Yeah, there's so what good, bad, or indifferent. Let's see, how do I click a button here? Do you want to remove Dan? Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. So just so you guys know, like I ain't techie. Probably ain't's not a word, so I am not techie. Sorry, B. Kimball, my 4th grade grammar teacher. Yeah, I mean, it's like I get it that you have not probably been adding 25,000 a month to your bank account, but I also know that you don't have this system. Does that make sense? And that's the ticket. The ticket is this system, and it's not based on how much experience you got. It's not based on your age. It's not based on your marketplace. It's not based on nothing except like just taking the right action. So go to Total Freedom Solution, get signed up for the event. It is limited to 100 realtors. We sell out every time, so this will sell out as well.
Here's a big question, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So Dan talked about the Freedom Club. That's your sort of elite coaching package.
Yeah.
Can you get results without being in the Freedom Club, or is that the only way it's going to work for you?
Yeah. Heck yeah. So you come to the 3-day event, I guarantee you. So by the end of this 2.5 days, right? Because we're basically 10 a.m. in the morning till 7 at night, East Coast time, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. East Coast time. At the end of that 3rd day, you're going to have learned how to add 300,000 of income to you within 12 months. And if you're like, man, I don't see how I can add 300,000 of income, Jonathan, you let me know. You keep all the information, you keep all the materials I give you, which will be a lot, and I refund you 100% of what you paid. So there's zero risk. Like what other real estate event can you attend where it's like, hey, you're going to invest, I don't even know what it is, $500 to come to my event, which I still scratch my head on because I used to charge $8,000 for the same material. So $8,000 for the same material at my live events, that it's the same material, but instead of being like where we touch each other, it's now like on Zoom, right? Like this, but same everything, and it's $500 to attend. So it's like, I wish I had some money, but it'd be like, invest $500 to learn how to make $300,000. Like, that's a pretty good ROI. Does that make sense? And it's not even ROI, it's like ROT, which is return on time. Because, see, it's not going to take you 9 months to learn this. You're learning it at the 2.5-day event. Like 2.5 days, 1% of your entire year, you got to invest $500 to learn how to make 300,000 GCI. And I would say that's within 12 months. And you're going to earn that like every year going forward. So
Did you see Jeremy's question? It's pretty funny. He doesn't know it's funny, but do you have anybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area doing? And I know why this is funny. You might not know. Do you know?
Oh, I do. I mean, a few people. We got Janet Mitchell. We got Scott Waddell. We got Chad Carlson.
Lori Blad.
You got Christy Bell.
Lori.
Lori Blad. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like, this would, I'll say this. The only reason this system does not work is if you're in a town of, let's say, 500 people. If you're in a town of 500 people, it would, well, I can't say it won't work, but it's just going to be really hard. Does that make sense? And I'm highly assuming most of you guys live in a 100-mile radius of a town of 500 people. Does that make sense? So you have to live in a town of 500 people, and you're 100 miles away from a town of 500 people.
So Zach says that he's sucked your YouTube channel dry. So I guess what that means is I've got a bunch of unpublished videos. What I've been doing, Jonathan, is I've been talking to people. Well, I've been stalking your weekly meetings, and I've been taking all the results out of that. So we're gonna have 161 weeks of results on this channel. And so, Zach, stay tuned for that. I'll release that in the next day or two. And you can see what's happening right now in real time. And yes, it works in San Antonio, Texas for sure.
Yeah. It's as long as you're in a town of 500 people, or you're within a 100-mile radius of a town that's larger than 500 people. Big question is, like, ask yourself, like, why wouldn't I sign up for this? So, like, okay, I get the event is 3 days. I get it that it's $500. I get it that there's, that $300,000 guarantee, right? Hey, at the end of that third day, you're going to have learned how to do that. But if you guys would be so kind, like, to tell me or Mike, like, why wouldn't you do this? Like, why would you not want this?
Crickets. I can't think of a reason. There's just no reason not to do this. And I'm a little bit biased because, like, I've been talking to all the people who have I may have some showings during that time. Okay. Mark's going. Yeah, see, I've just been talking to Janet. I've been talking to Chad. I've been talking to Kai. I've been talking to Laura. I've been talking to Ellen. I've been hearing them firsthand talking about, they're pretty excited about the results. Obviously, making a whole lot of money is, but they just like their life more. Like, have you heard Ellen talk about the FSBO that she accepted? She might have kept that secret from you, but
fire away.
She agreed to somehow she got a FSBO dropped on her lap. It was an $895,000 home. And she got an $885,000 offer on it, and it had been on the market for a while. and she'd done the 12-page brochure. She's just done everything for this FSBO, asking $895, got an $885 offer with no contingencies, and the FSBO pulled the listing on her. She did all this work. And she says, you know what, Jonathan taught me not to chase people like that, but she admits she's doing everything wrong, but still doubling her income. But she's like, yeah, you know, I saw stars with that $895. I thought I wanted the money, but at the end, it just wasn't worth the hassle. And yeah, so she's not going to do that ever again.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Like guys, I'm a realtor like you. I think that's what is there's so I should write down why the system works, but it works because there is no theory, there's no guesswork, right? So I'm a realtor just like you guys. I have been there and tried that. Like, you name the source of leads, I'll be like, yep, I spent 18,000 on that thing. I got nothing from it. Or yeah, I spent 26,000 on that thing. I made 50,000, which was great. But over here, I spent $500 and I made 110,000, right? So what we could have asked Dan is like, hey, Dan, out of that 110,000, how much did you spend to get that? And let's just say under $1,000, right? So like, why spend 18,000 to make 50,000 when you could spend 1,000 to make 110,000? Like, and it's just so much easier. Does that make sense? It's like the ease of doing it. I remember when I first met Dan, Mike, I mean, oh my gosh, Dan's hair, it could have been on fire, because Dan's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm like, man, Dan, you just telling me what you're doing is exhausting me. Like, just let's stop that. And I get that it's going to be hard to stop that, but instead let's replace it, right? And I think that's the big key. I would jot that down. Like, this is not a system that's going to fix whatever. Does that make sense? This works so well because it's a replacement. Like, we're going to take what you're currently doing or have done, we're going to set it over here, and instead we're going to install this new DOS software, for lack of a better term, which is like so much better. And voila. It's like with the iPhone. I think iPhone's coming out with a new thing, right? They don't take your iPhone 8 and tweak it and now it's an iPhone 12. They're more like, hey, let's take your old iPhone 8, no problem, but instead we're just going to give you an iPhone 12 because it's just way much better, right? So that's the key with the system. Is it's a complete, proven, simple signature system. Get signed up. Oh my gosh, for those of you who get signed up today before midnight, I'm going to send you guys out a bonus video that's going to really help you jumpstart in a couple different arenas of your life. Also, when you get signed up for this event, I'm going to email you the 151-page manual. I call it Guide to Your Success. And it's as best as I can get. So I got to warn you guys, I'm not like a professional speaker. I'm not a professional writer. I'm a realtor that's just done very well in real estate. So this Guide to Your Success, it's pretty good, but it's not perfect, right? If you're looking for literature, this ain't going to get no Nobel Peace Prize or whatever, Amazon, whatever thing. But this is the guide that we're going to use over this 3-day event, where I'm going to walk you through every single one of the 11 ways, and then walk you through my buyer presentation, my seller presentation, what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, so that you get buyers and sellers going like, oh my gosh, I want to work with you and I want to pay you a full commission. So some of the ways, because people tend to ask like, what are the ways? Well, one way is getting a lender to send you $1 million of business a month. Like, type in the chat box if that would help you out. If you could have a lender sending you $1 million of business a month, like, either go like, yep, that'd be pretty nice, or I don't want that. So I teach you that. I teach you how to get a custom home builder to send you $1 million of business a month. I teach you how to get a national home builder to send you $1 million of business a month. And I get it. You might be like, well, Jonathan, that won't work in my marketplace. Cool. I've heard that before, and we've dispelled that myth in every single state, right? We've dispelled that myth in small towns, big towns. I teach you how to do open houses the right way. I teach you how to communicate with online leads the right way. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. How many of the 11 ways do you find most beneficial? I tell people go with one. So go with one of the 11, make your 25,000 a month. And if you're like, man, life sucks, I need more money, then do two.
You have to do two, Jonathan.
Huh?
I got to disagree. You got to do two. because you have to do Tuesday, Friday update calls. And usually the Tuesday, Friday update calls come from the thing that you do first, right?
You're going to double your business. Well, yeah. If you choose to spend an hour on Tuesday and an hour on Friday, making these Tuesday, Friday update calls the right way, the 6 steps, you will double your business. So like you almost need to ask your spouse or significant other, like, hey, spouse, I got to put an extra 2 hours in a week, but I'll double my business. What do you think? And your spouse will probably be like, yeah, go for it. In fact, gosh, if some of you guys are pondering, like, should I do this? Should I not? Just text your spouse right now. Hey, honey, I can learn how to add 25,000 a month to our bank account. Do you think that'd be a good idea? And your honey might be like, honey in a good way. I call Katie my bride. You know, your bride or significant other might be like, well, what's the cost? Well, the cost is $500. Oh, well, is it guaranteed? Yeah. This guy, Jonathan, who's quasi-balding, says, yeah, you invest 500 and at the end of 3 days, he's going to guarantee that I'll have learned how to add 300,000. And if not, I get all my money back. Oh, well, do you think you can trust him? I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you this, I mean, how do I phrase this in a nice way? Like, I really want to help you guys out, but I don't need your $500. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I have a car payment, and if I do not sell a ticket, I'm going to go on welfare. If you calculate $424 million of residential real estate, you now know what I've earned in income over the last 9 years. And then I told you I used to own 2 real estate companies. I started from scratch. I own one now in the Texas area with 2 other guys who've actually gone through this system. And so they did so well. I'm like, wow, we got to team up and do this. But you can calculate what I've earned just on my real estate companies because I pay a 50% commission out, and we've sold 600 million. So yeah, I mean, I really like helping people out. Sometimes Mike is like, why do you do this? And I'm like, man, because I really like helping realtors like Dan go from 19 years of solid stress to like, holy cow, first month I did $25,000. Like I usually make 80 to 100 in a whole year. And then the next month I did 110. That's more than I've made in an entire year for 19 years. And I did that in 1 month. And then this month I already got 55,000 closed with another 4 in the hopper. And if you look at Dan, it's not like he's stressed out. I mean, Dan's he's got more free time now than he knows what to do with. So he's popping on a call to like, I mean, it's guys, it's going to change your world. I know that like you attend this event, your world's going to change. I guarantee it. I really want to help you out. I really want to give you this information that's massively changed my life. And I am very confident it will change your life as well. So get signed up. Don't delay. Don't be that person that's like, hey, I'll wait till another event. Like, why would you want to delay putting $25,000 a month in your bank account? Does that make sense? I think Dan might have delayed a year and a half. Can you imagine that? So Dan stalking me for a year and a half, going through a not a great lifestyle, and then finally signs up, right? And then like, boom, starts making substantial income. And it's like, why not do it a year and a half? Like, why? Like, don't sabotage your own success, guys. And like, I do a lot of downhill skiing in Montana, and I snorkel pretty much every day when we're in the Caribbean. And there's, you know, some things in the ocean where sometimes I go, whoa, that's a thing I don't want to see every day. So like, I'm planning on doing more events, but like, who knows? I might get chewed up by a shark. I might get COVID-27. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know this, come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm doing a 3-day event. I'm going to teach you what to do, what not to do. And bingo, bango, like bam.
I've been talking to a lot of your people using CPS3. And as you know, I've been trying to get you to downgrade your $300,000 guarantee because it just seems almost impossible.
Yeah,
but
so
far, I honestly haven't spoken to anybody who, like Dan, who hasn't far exceeded the $25,000 a month. They usually start at $25,000 in their first month, and then Dan is not an anomaly. He is not. And so Dan has 19 years experience, 20 years experience, but we're looking at like look what Regina's doing. Regina is so quiet and meek and mild, and she's crushing it. She's crushing it, right?
Kai, like a realtor for months, right? He's been a realtor for a few months. Yeah, it worked. Jean Riley came to this event before she even got her license, right? Within weeks of attending the event, she got her first listing. Happened to be a $1,350,000 listing. It's pretty good for a first listing, right? And then she double-ended it. So she represented the buyer, right, and the seller. So she earned whatever that is, 62,000 commission from her first like person helped. And yeah, I mean, this will work for you as long as you're alive, which I know you are because you're on here, and as long as you're within 100 miles of a town that's got 500 people or more. Do it. Sign up. Heck, take advantage of me and sign up. And at the end of the 3rd day, be like, what you taught was junk. I want my money back, and go out and make 100,000 a year. I'm okay with that, right? I just want you guys to get the information and to start changing your life in a positive way. So, all right, I got to skedaddle, Mike. I know you do too. Get signed up, rock stars, and I'll see you guys Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right, have a great day. Bye.